All right, Jack. I think you should be the first one to go up and try out the new treehouse.
Okay.
Or at least the uncompleted treehouse. So do you know how high it is?
No.
13 feet to the floor. And some change. All right, so this right here is, this is your lubber hole. L-U-B, lubber. And then I've got a piece of temporary plywood up here for you that I'm using so you can kind of get a feel for it. So what do you think?
High.
It's pretty high, isn't it? It keeps getting higher. The more stuff I add, it gets higher. So here we are. Fast forward a little bit. I'm going to bring you along from today, but here's the hole, here's the access hole, and the reason why I put it right here was that so the kids will have a ladder coming up here, and then they can come to a little platform I'll build there in the tree, and then come up. So the most hazardous portion of the tree house is the getting in and out of it. This way, there's a pretty much kind of a little buffer. It cuts the fall in half by doing that. So we'll do a flip-up trap door right here that they can close. And then out there's the deck. The deck overhangs there. I was going to just have it like 4x8, just really, really small. And the more I got up here, I got looking around, I thought, you know, I'm going to really regret it if I don't take advantage of every possible bit of space that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put we're going to do that here right now, is we're going to put another stringer right over here, and we'll run the house out so we'll get a full 8 feet. From here across 8 feet by about 6 feet. So it'll be L-shaped, but it'll be a lot more room, and then it'll have a nice little deck off the edge that they can enjoy. So what I had to do to accommodate that, because I didn't plan for this in the original build, was to add this stringer right here, which I'm working on right now with these big 5/8 bolts. So what we're going to have to do, let's take you down underneath here. I know it's going to be hard to get the perspective here. So these are the rafters on about 16-inch, 17-inch centers or so. These are full dimension 2x6s that I cut with the chainsaw mill. And so I've just added this stringer right here. So it's lagged in with 8-inch bolts, 5/8 by 8-inch, connecting the two main stringers. And then we'll have to put, like this thing here, this stringer that sticks out there, we're going to have to add another one right here. That will go out. And then how we're going to support that is we're going to cable it or chain with a turnbuckle to the tree. And that's going to give us, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going to give us a lot more square footage on the tree house by having that over there. It's just going to be too small. So let's get to work on that, and Jack will be helping me here, and we'll bring you along. All right, so right before I put the lag bolts in there, I put this ratchet strap on there to pull these really tight. There's just a little bit of bow and everything, and I think what it was is I put that lag screw over there before I squared everything, and I'm pulling against it. So if that came tight, I've got them lagged in, and then I used the piece of 3/4 inch plywood up there to square the floor joists, because plywood's perfectly square, so you can, that's just kind of a little assistant. So I'm going to give you the camera, Jack. You're going to be the cameraman, and we'll get to work on the next stringer.
Hi, Captain.
Okay, so we're all through with the ratchet strap. We can take this loose. Because the bolts are in there, and we've got to go now into the shop and cut that short stringer tail, Jack. So let's go down there and do that. Okay, so I've got I'm going to cut a 4x8 here. I've got one that we just slabbed off from the chainsaw mill. You can use a table saw for these. These are full dimension 3x8s. So I've got these rollers. Show these rollers over here, Jack. If you're working with really big or long stuff, this really helps with your table saw. I've got one here, and I've got one over there, and that will help us. So I've got the saw set. We'll set it here at 8 inches. Because we want this to be 8 inches wide. And then this will be the last of our big stringers. That looks good. So that is asking a lot from a table saw, but you use what you have. A table saw is just like a miniature sawmill. You can do a lot. I cut big stuff on it all the time with a little help from these guys, these rollers, or if you don't have those, some sawhorses. But that's it. So we're gonna cut this down to 44 jack. We'll put our chamfer on there, and then we'll be ready. We'll start putting our floor on.
So today I'm videoing, and I'm gonna try to make it as exciting as possible.
Lots of camera angles, creative filming. Okay, so here's our stringer tail. I made it 7 inches longer than the other one, so because I have a rated through bolt that will go through the washers with a forged head on it, because it's going to be carrying the corner of the building, so it needs to be strong. So let's take that over to the fan and we'll drill this and get it mounted up, and then we'll be ready to put our decking on.
Woo.
We can have dinner on it tonight.
Can't wait.
All right, let's go. Okay, so here's our stringer tail that's going to hang out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this forged bolt with the forged eye on it all the way through here, and then these great big bearings. This is a 1/2 inch bolt, but it's rated at 2,500 pounds. It won't open. They don't give these things away. Good grief. The hardware on this thing has been, a lot of it I didn't have. All of the lumber, everything up here so far, I've milled for my chainsaw mill, so I don't have any expense in that. But the hardware alone, the galvanized lag bolts and stuff are just ridiculous. Ridiculous. These are like $2 a piece. But you need them, you need them. So let's, we'll drill through here, jackers. And we'll install this, and then this will be suspended by either a cable or a chain. So we'll use our speed square here, make sure we're drilling straight. You ready? Okay, so we drilled halfway through, so we'll flip it over here, and this is a 1/2 inch bit, 1/2 inch hole. Everything will be nice and tight. Hopefully we'll run right smack dab into the other hole. Yep, I felt it. So here is this is the forged bolt, and then the big washer, the 1/2 inch. I'm going to put this on the top, and then we can put a lag screw through here. And what that does is that just gives it basically a metal surface so it doesn't oval out. Just a little bit of insurance, but that should fit in here. So I'm using a rubber mallet on this so that I don't run any risk of fracturing this, because it is going to hold 1/8 of the corner of the treehouse. Put a washer on, and then we'll double nut the end. If you want something to a bolt and nut never to come apart, you can use Loctite, you can use nylon nuts or aviation style nuts, but the best way is to double nut it, is to put 2 on. So what you do is you put the first one on, tighten it up where you want it. This doesn't need to be, we don't need to be crushing the wood or anything, just nice and firm. And then by adding a second nut, or a jam nut, some people will call, it takes 2 wrenches, put one wrench on each nut, and tighten them together, which I don't have, but you tighten them together, that's not spinning. That will, on a static load like this, that will never come loose. It's just a really good insurance policy right there.